Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. I'm sitting in the Russell Cruiser driving down the street right now. This morning, I got a chance to listen to a good bulk of the Goldust edition of Something to Wrestle With. And I know that Something to Wrestle With Bruce Pritchard, honestly winning a lot of podcasts with Brother Love and the mortgage guy. I honestly have not been able to see one of their live shows yet. They have not come to Sacramento, and I haven't been to any of the pay-per-views that they've been to. But honestly, you know, I would guess for about a year now, Something to Wrestle With has easily been one of my favorite podcasts since I started listening to it. And, you know, it really just grabbed me. And I really like when they do things like when they watch a pay-per-view and give their live stories as the pay-per-view is going along. I really like it when they do sort of biography episodes where they talk about the career of a certain wrestler. Like they've done Bret Hart, where they didn't even cover his whole career. They just covered a couple of years, and that was a 5-hour episode. Then we did another 5-hour episode on the career of Edge, which was really good. This week, we had one that I believe was picked by a poll, and the poll was won by Goldust. And the stories that Bruce Pritchard told about the career of Goldust were just so good. Dustin Rhodes being the son of Dusty Rhodes. I read the Goldust book, I believe, on the flight home from Atlanta. That would be WrestleMania 27. I think I read that. I actually bought it in line at Access, hoping to meet Goldust, and I wasn't able to meet him. Later, I think just a few years ago, I actually met Goldust here in Sacramento, and I asked him to sign the book, and I even told them that one of the pages in there, you know, it was something that really spoke to me. And it wasn't even about wrestling, about being a fan or being a professional wrestler. It was about being a father. And it really meant a lot to me, and I let him know, and I think that he really liked that, I actually took the time to read the book. But after, it wasn't even after, it was that my thoughts during listening to the podcast today. I can remember that I made a video here on YouTube back in 2010 or maybe 2011 when Goldust was going on Twitter and basically, I guess you can say, sort of politicking the fans into letting WWE know that Goldust wants a WWE DVD, made on him. And I haven't watched the video, but I can remember in my mind that I was kind of negative on the fact of Goldust having one, because I think I was in the mind frame of thinking where Goldust was on the card in 2010 as basically just a guy. I don't think that he had become a producer yet. I think that he was just on-screen talent, and he was a guy that was losing matches on NXT back when NXT was the game show, and he was you could say getting married to Oksana and just losing a lot of matches if he was really lucky to get on Monday Night Raw, or most of the time on Superstars or on main event. There really wasn't anything to care about Goldust. I really wasn't thinking about his career spanning, from the early days in 1990, the Royal Rumble with the gimmick of him and Dusty going up against Virgil and the $1 Million Man, or him going and becoming the natural Dustin Rhodes in WCW, him coming back and becoming Goldust. I wasn't really putting all those pieces together. I can remember that the first night that the WWE Network went live, and I ordered the network and I sat home. I didn't really know how to use the on-demand or really know what to do, so I was just sitting there watching the live stream, seeing what they were putting on. And I remember they were showing episodes of Hardcore TV from ECW, and they were putting on old school editions of Monday Night Raw, and I honestly think I watched it for like 4 or 5 hours that night, just watching it. And there's that little bit of filler time that is in between in between the episodes to sort of fill the hour gaps so they can start the shows on the hour on the live stream. And they would show sort of, almost you can say like a commercial or a clip of something that they're working on. And they would show what seemed like a mini biography on Goldust, talking about the preparations of them putting the suit together. And I'm not sure if that was from the Wrestling Families DVD. I bought that DVD years ago and honestly tried to watch it, and I found it very, very, very boring. I can't even really remember if there was a documentary on it or if it was just sort of like a mini, this is the Rhodes family, and then they just put on, put on a random match from what was going on at that time. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so I might be wrong, and there might be a real documentary on there, and it might even be containing the clip that I'm talking about. But I found it very interesting, just Dustin Rhodes talking about them coming to him and telling him what Goldust was going to be and what he was going to look like, and looking at the drawings of what his attire was going to look like on his entrance and then in the ring, and putting the pieces together of what Goldust was going to be. I really think that would be a really good DVD documentary. I know at this point, I know over the last year we've got DVDs on Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and a lot of guys. The only people that I can really think in WWE that don't have a documentary that might deserve one would be possibly Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose, maybe even, I guess you can say, AJ Styles, but I know that they've shown a clip here or there along the way of AJ Styles wrestling in TNA, but I'm not sure that I think that WWE wants to go all in on showing 10, 11 years of TNA footage to tell the story of who AJ Styles is, as well as maybe trying to acquire some rights to some Bullet Club New Japan stuff. That just might not be in the works, so maybe they'll just have to do like a best of AJ Styles, but I'm sure that's coming sooner than later as of right now. But when they look at who like the DVDs have been made on of past wrestling stars, there was one made last year on Diamond Dallas Page, and I'm not taking a knock at Diamond Dallas Page here. I haven't watched the documentary. I just actually ordered the DVD a few days ago on the, I believe it was Friday's $5 deals. But if DDP can get a documentary, I think that honestly Goldust can too. And that's not saying that they can't do something just on the network. I mean, Medusa, she got a documentary made on her, and there's no DVDs actually printed and sold in stores. It's just, I don't remember if it was 30, 40, 45 minutes on the career of Medusa, but that was just put on the network, and that's the only way you can see it is if you have it. And I'm not knocking Goldust. I mean, they can come up with a WWE's collection of Goldust matches that they wanted to, and not have to take the risk of people not buying it in stores. But I really think they would, and I really think that he is a guy that people would love to have it. So we'll see what goes. I got my fingers crossed. Hopefully everybody out there on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever the heck you guys do have something to wrestle with as a subscription for your podcast needs. If not, I mean, honestly, you've got well over a year of back, episodes to listen to, and you guys better get to it, because I really, really dig the show.